Hustle culture lied to you. Working 80 hours a week isn't a badge of honor. It's a symptom of inefficiency. If you're constantly exhausted but your goals still feel miles away, you're fighting the path instead of walking it. Today, I'm showing you the low-friction system to achieve your biggest goals without the burnout. We've all been sold this idea that success has to be hard. We've been conditioned to believe that if something isn't difficult, it isn't valuable. We equate being busy with being important. But think about it. Have you ever noticed how the most successful people seem to have the most time? It's not because they have more hours in their day. It's because they've mastered the art of efficiency over effort. They've learned to identify the path of least resistance. This isn't about being lazy. It's about understanding the difference between force and flow. When you force a task, you use up all your mental energy in the first hour. When you flow with a task, you almost seem to gain energy as you go. The secret is setting up your environment and your schedule so that the right action becomes the easiest action. So, let's start with the first big myth: the glorification of hard work. Imagine two people are tasked with moving a giant boulder. Person A decides to push it with all their might, sweating, straining, and making very little progress. Person B spends a few minutes finding a long lever and a fulcrum. With one smooth push, the boulder moves easily. Who worked harder? Person A, who was more effective. Person B. Our culture celebrates Person A. We post quotes about the grind. We wear our exhaustion like a trophy. But true productivity isn't about how much effort you expend. It's about how much progress you make. The goal is to be Person B, to work smarter, not just harder, and to get more done with less struggle. Stop measuring your day by how tired you are at the end of it, and start measuring it by how much closer you are to your goals. To do that, you need to understand your own energy. This brings us to energy mapping. Not all hours of the day are created equal. You have a time when your brain is sharp, creative, and ready to tackle complex problems. This is your peak presence time. For some people, it's from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. For others, it's from 9 p.m. to midnight. Your job is to become a detective of your own energy. For the next week, just observe. Don't try to change anything. Just notice when you feel most focused, when you feel most creative, and when you feel like you could nap on your keyboard. Is it after your morning coffee? After a workout? Late at night when the house is quiet? Pinpoint that 2-4 window. This is your golden time. This is when you will schedule your most important, needle-moving work. Stop trying to force creative work into a low-energy afternoon slump. Align your tasks with your natural energy cycles, and you'll feel like you've unlocked a superpower. Now for a little pattern interrupt. What if I told you that your laziness is actually a high-level data point? We're taught to feel guilty about procrastination or feeling unmotivated. We call ourselves lazy. But what if that feeling isn't a character flaw? What if it's your brain's early warning system? When you consistently avoid a certain task, your brain is telling you something important. Maybe the task isn't aligned with your goals. Maybe the process is too complicated and full of friction. Maybe you don't have the right information or tools to start. Instead of beating yourself up, get curious. Ask why. Why am I avoiding this? Laziness is just a signal that there's too much friction in the system. Listen to that signal. It's pointing you directly to the part of your workflow that needs to be simplified or reevaluated. This leads us perfectly into the rule of 3. At the start of each day, or the night before, I want you to ask yourself, if I could only accomplish 3 things today that would make me feel productive and move me closer to my main goal, what would they be? Just 3. Not a to-do list with 25 items. We often drown ourselves in a sea of trivial tasks, answering emails, organizing files, attending pointless meetings, because they make us feel busy. But busyness is not progress. The rule of 3 forces you to prioritize. It makes you distinguish between the tasks that are truly important and the tasks that are just urgent or easy. Your 3 things should be your main priority. You schedule them during your peak presence time, and you protect that time fiercely. Everything else is a bonus. This simple rule will transform your chaotic days into focused, effective sprints. Next, let's talk about designing for flow by removing choice fatigue. Every decision you make, no matter how small, depletes your mental energy. What should I wear? What should I eat for breakfast? Which task should I work on first? By the time you sit down to do your most important work, you've already made dozens of tiny decisions, and your willpower is drained. This is choice fatigue. The most productive people on the planet are masters at eliminating unnecessary choices. They plan their meals. They lay out their clothes the night before. And most importantly, they pre-decide what they're going to work on. Your rule of 3 inches list helps with this. When you sit down at your desk during your peak presence time, you shouldn't be wondering what to do. You should already know. The decision is made. All you have to do is execute. Make the path to your most important work as smooth and choice-free as possible. Let me ask you a question. Pause and really think about this. What's the one task you've been putting off for a month? That thing that pops into your head and you immediately think, ugh, I'll do it later. What is it? Got it. Okay. Now, remember what we said about laziness being data. That task is your biggest point of friction. Right now, it feels like a giant, overwhelming monster. I want you to take that task and ask, what is the absolute smallest, tiniest, most laughably easy first step I could take to start it? I'm not talking about doing the whole task. I'm talking about a 2-minute action. If it's write a book, the first step is open a new document and write one sentence. If it's clean the garage, the first step is walk to the garage and throw away one piece of trash. Do that tiny step right after this video. The goal isn't to finish, it's just to start. Breaking the inertia is half the battle. So you've had a productive morning. You've tackled your rule of 3. Now comes the afternoon slump. What do most of us do? We either try to power through with more caffeine, feeling miserable and unproductive, or we feel guilty for wanting to rest. This is where the afternoon pivot comes in. Your brain needs downtime to consolidate information and recharge. Resting isn't a sign of weakness. It's a strategic part of the productivity cycle. So, when you feel your energy dip in the afternoon, pivot. Don't fight it. Embrace it. This is the perfect time for low-energy tasks. Answer some emails. Tidy your workspace. Go for a walk. Listen to a podcast. Or even take a 20-minute power nap. The key is to do it without guilt. Give yourself permission to recharge. You'll find that by strategically resting, your overall output for the day and week actually increases. You'll come back to your work refreshed and more focused. Finally, let's put it all together into your new workflow template. It's simple. 1. The night before, define your rule of 3 inches for the next day. These are your non-negotiable high-impact tasks. 2. Schedule those 3 tasks to be done during your identified peak presence time. Protect this time block like it's sacred. 3. When the afternoon slump hits, pivot to low-energy tasks or strategic rest. Do it guilt-free. 4. At the end of the day, take 2 minutes to acknowledge what you accomplished, your 3 big things, and then completely unplug. Your work is done. This isn't a rigid, complicated system. It's a flexible framework designed to work with your natural energy, not against it. It's about creating a low-friction life where you can achieve your biggest goals without sacrificing your well-being. It's about sustainable success. Start by implementing just one of these ideas this week. Maybe it's just identifying your rule of 3 each day. See how it feels. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Small changes, consistently applied, lead to massive results. You can build a life where you feel both productive and rested. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful and want more tips on how to achieve your goals with less stress, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.